Hi, everyone. It is Sarah, the founder of the Live Like Brew Foundation. This, for me, is one of the best days of the year because it's not only our birthday, February 19th, we are eight, but this day also brings a very special grant. So, for those of you that have been following us for a while, you know of our Chris Kohl grant. This is our little logo that's hand painted by our friend at Water Pops. And Chris, unfortunately passed away from cancer. I did not know, unfortunately, that he passed away. We had communicated many times about animal control in Philadelphia. And then, unfortunately, his dog got cancer. And what happened with Chris is he left us a sizable grant. And instead of that money just being thrown everywhere, it was really important to me and to our board for us to do something in memory of Chris every year around our birthday. So that's why we're here today. I would have chills because I'm going to introduce you right now to Susan and Luna. Hi, Luna Bear. Hello, Susan.
There.
So nice to meet you. So, Susan, before we get to Luna, and Luna for everybody, that's why we're here. Luna is in a shelter situation, but that is like a very small part of this story. In researching this, I learned, and Susan wrote me an email about what she does and what she started. And I was again just watching the video that you sent me, Susan, and it's remarkable what you do. So start by telling us what Canine Cellmates is.
Okay. I could talk about this for about 3 weeks without taking a breath, but I promise to not do that today. um, Canine Cellmates has been around since 2013. We actually started on it in 2012. And we are a unique rehabilitative program involving incarcerated and previously incarcerated men and rescue dogs. So we have had an in custody program inside Fulton County Jail, which is the largest jail by population in the Southeast, since 2013. We have graduated 29 cycles of graduates, including men and dogs. And then in 2021, we started a second program. So our second program is an out of custody program. There isn't anybody else in the country doing what we're doing in this out of country program that we are aware of. So I work closely with the district attorney's office and the court system. Our target audience for our programs has always been the repeat felony offender. So we're not a first offender or a youth offender program. We work with the folks who, for the most part, there are no programs for. So we devised this second program. We work with the court system and the district attorney's office with repeat felony offenders, and we become the disposition to their open felony charges. So 90+%, probably 95 to 97% of the men that come to us in our program, we're going to go to prison. On average, these men are on their third to fifth felony, and we've had men with as many as 40 felonies come to our program. It's a year long. The first phase is 90 days long, and that's the intensive phase. And while they are with us, they work with rescue dogs like Luna in a group training environment. So they learn about dogs and the history of dogs and dog body language and dog handling skills and how to train for basic obedience using positive reinforcement training methods. But they sit in very focused curriculum. We are a well-rounded rehabilitative program. It's a year long. And if they come to us on diversion, when they complete this year-long program, their charges are no pros. They go away.
I mean, just incredible. And a few things that kind of stuck out to me, watching your video, and I feel like people can kind of like really get it when you say you take a dog that was rejected by society and a human that's rejected by society, and you bring them together. And what happens is, you mentioned that that graduation is just so touching because they feel like they're part of something, and that these animals, they look at humans and they don't judge, and they've been judged their whole life. Like I feel like people that then get that recognition and see that they're part of something much bigger than, and how proud are you at that moment to see these inmates and dogs like connect?
It's amazing. The dogs are the magic of our program. Our logo shows you that the dogs are the heart. Our focus is the men, because we are a rehabilitative program, not a rescue. But the dogs are the magic. The dogs are they're the beginning of the positive change for these men. Once this dog starts to trust in these men and love these men, it starts to change how they feel about themselves. They start to feel like maybe there is something of value here in me, because this dog loves me. So yes, watching them complete our program, those are such proud days. And today I hurried back here from a another county where I went to watch one of my guys from 2017 graduate from drug court out in Douglas County, where he's been drug court for 3 years. And those kinds of things make me incredibly proud.
Yeah, wow. I mean, just a magnificent work you're doing. I can't imagine how tough it is sometimes, but I can't imagine how rewarding it is. Similar to Live Like Brew Foundation, a lot of the work you do is so sad and difficult, but when you get to that graduation day and then seeing the dog get adopted, because the dog's not, again, as you say in your video, sitting there in a shelter in a cage just going crazy, actually gets that one-on-one time. Really incredible work. So thank you for all you do. Wow.
Well,
So
so I saw
Luna,
that I saw that you showed a picture. I have to comment on one of the pictures you included, which
yeah,
was from last Saturday where we threw a party for Jazzy, who went home after being with us for 7 years.
wow.
So that's also speaks to who we are as an organization. Once a dog comes into our program, they're always a Canine Cellmates dogs. We never turn our backs on our dogs. They never go back to the shelter. They're dogs, our dogs for life. When we adopt them out, they're just on long-term loan to the adopters. They're still our dogs.
I love that. I love to. I was looking at like the aftercare and your after programs. Like it's not just like, okay, we graduated and everything's done, or the dog's adopted and we're done. Like you guys, you follow through, which I really really love. So let's get to Luna. So Luna unfortunately has cancer. She's on her second chemo treatment. She did have a surgery to remove a mass. Can you kind of bring us up to speed about where she is and how she's feeling?
Yeah, so Luna, we discovered late last fall that she had a mass in her neck, and it was here in this area. So it was kind of easily camouflaged by just the folds of her neck and the fact that she had a collar. But when we went to remove it, because it had to be removed, it turned out to be the size of your outstretched hand. It was really massive, and would have been life-threatening by itself very quickly because it was already displacing her trachea and was starting to wrap around her jugular vein. They even though it was a very complicated and very lengthy surgery, they weren't concerned about the mass when they removed it. They didn't know what it was. They were very puzzled by it, but they didn't think it was malignant. So we were literally blown away when it came back as cancer, and not just any cancer. Not that there's any cancer that's good. It's Cancer is a horrible, horrible thing. But as luck would have it, it is an extraordinarily rare form of cancer called lymphangiosarcoma, and it is so rare that there's only been 20 diagnosed cases in the last 10 years. And so there's very little data, almost no data, because most people didn't choose to treat. But she's a 3-year-old dog, not even 4 years old yet, in the prime of her life, extremely healthy. And literally, I know everybody thinks this, but literally, this dog may be the sweetest dog in the entire world, and we adore her. So she recovered from the surgery, which was it seemed like it took forever. It really was pretty quick. She had to have a drain in, and the drain hung down beside her leg. It was awful. But anyway, she recovered from the surgery, and then we had to determine where we went from there. And we had some contradicting recommendations. So I really, really agonized and struggled over what was the right thing to do for this dog. Um, we finally settled on chemo. So she's now had 2 chemo treatments. She has three or four more. 6, I think, is the maximum number of this particular chemo drug that they can administer over the lifetime of a dog. She seems to feel pretty good. The second chemo treatment was a little harder on her than the first, which makes me really nervous about the third one. If at any point we feel like her quality of life has diminished, we will suspend the chemo treatments. I don't want to keep her here just for us, even though we love this dog beyond measure.
I mean, so every time you like rub her, she like her tail wags. It's so sweet. Yeah. I've fallen in love with her too. And I
I
do.
wish you could see her eyes up close because she has the most beautiful amber colored eyes.
Well, we'll
She's
see.
so beautiful.
I wanted to bring up Kramer, and I think you could see her eyes really well in this picture because she does have a shelter boyfriend, right?
Yes, she lives with Kramer, who's a husky mix, and they live together. They have a big room that they're in together. They have their individual pens built out inside the room. So if there's nobody in the building, they are in their individual pens. But all the rest of the time, they're out together, and they're adorable. They love each other. And frequently, when you walk by and you peek in their little window, you'll find that Luna is curled up on Kramer's bed with Kramer.
I mean, it's so sweet. And I know Susan, you and I, because I know that we may get some questions. People may ask, like, why isn't she in a foster? Why isn't she being adopted? The best place for her right now is right where she is, because if you took her away from you all and Kramer, it actually could be more detrimental to her and her health. So, for anybody asking, Susan and I did talk about that because I did offer to share her across our platforms too for potential foster, but she obviously is very comfortable and well loved where she is.
Well, so I think it's important to understand too that we have a facility, but we're not a shelter per se. So we're very low volume. So do our dogs have the quality of life that they would in a home? No, we don't think so. So, which is obviously why we want all our dogs to get adopted. But their life is 1,000 times better than if they were in a shelter. They have a lot of individual attention. They get a lot of outdoor walks and playtimes and enrichment activities, and then of course, she has her husband. So, and she gets to go on car rides, and yeah, she has.
Exactly.
If she wasn't in a home, she has the second best life.
Exactly. I totally agree. And for those of you that have never been to an open admission shelter, so Fulton County in Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago Animal Care and Control, where Rue came from, they are loud, they're noisy. They a lot of times can't have blankets because of health. And like if a dog would eat a blanket, that would be a medical mess. It's an awful place for a dog, to be honest with you. So that's why the work that Susan does is so important. So Susan, I know, usually our Chris Kohl grant is up to $10,000. I know you're already at 9,000 with the surgery and all the other appointments. So I did talk to the board. We're going to pay all those bills, and then we've got the rest of her funding. So the most important thing is for you to keep running these programs that Chris Kohl would love, because you're not only helping animals, you're helping humans. And the more of those that you can help, the better off the world is. So we are going to focus on Luna and her financials so that you can keep doing the amazing work you do. I can't honestly think of a better recipient for this Chris Kohl grant. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for all you do. Luna, we love you so much. And I know people are going to want updates. So Susan, I'm going to be bugging you, but I know you do a fantastic job too on your social media pages with letting people know. So thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you again. We appreciate your support.